Hello there, I hope you're doing well. In this session, we'll be looking at the Overview tab of the address detail page. This provides a summary of the token activity of the address and, to a large extent, the direct and indirect exposure on an entity level. So at the top here, we have the address summary section, which provides details on the tokens that have been transferred and received by the address. We have the token name column, a balance column indicating how many units of a particular token an address currently owns. We have the total incoming and outgoing values. We have the earliest and the most recent transaction columns as well. And you can review the values in either USD or the token currency. It's up to you. Now, this section is very interesting as the type of tokens that an address owns could be a really great indicator of the user's overall intentions, or at least the beginnings of building a user's profile. Are they interested in investing, saving, usually gaming, NFTs, that sort of thing. And then you can start mapping their usual activity against any activity or transfers that fall outside of this. That's just one small example of how this information may inform your investigations. And then as we scroll down, we come to the individual alert items, which are split up into open and resolved alerts. You should be familiar, but alerts are created when an address meets rule conditions, and a single address or transaction can meet multiple rule conditions, hence the multiple individual alert items. And just to refresh your memory, the overall risk level of an address or transaction will be the highest risk level seen across the open alerts. So depending on your settings, some created alerts are auto-resolved, such as info alerts, as you can see. Otherwise, open alerts will need to be investigated on an individual basis to resolve them. You can also resolve all alerts, so a bulk action there. You can click into the alert to find out further details about why the alert was triggered in the first place. So we can see this address has directly sent payments to the actor with type gambling for such value and has this percentage of taint, and the basic information is here as well. You can resolve the alert as mentioned. You can mute an alert, which means that notifications of a specific alert type will be disabled for a set period of time, 7 days, 30 days, or indefinitely, and you can go ahead and unmute in the future. You can also escalate the alert to perhaps a senior member so that they can review it to see, should this be resolved? Do we need to take further action? You will need to provide a reason and then add the comment to save it. And then for each individual alert item, you also have an audit trail. So you can review all the comments, changes, and so forth. And you have a filter option here where you can filter address screened, comments created, and so forth. So please do take a look at that as you review the tool here. And then we come down to the counterparty summary section, and it starts to get even more visual. So we've got this pie chart which represents the total incoming and outgoing exposure on a direct and indirect level. We can see the dominant entities that have interacted with this screen address, in this case exchanges, and the percentage of the exposure in relation to the total incoming or outgoing values of the address. And then underneath that, we have a table which breaks down this exposure on an individual entity basis. Well, for all the known entities that have interacted with the address. And you can see the entity name, that entity type, and you can see that there's different colors for each entities, which is very important when we move down to the investigation mode. And then we can see the breakdown on an entity level, as I mentioned, of the direct and indirect incoming and outgoing exposure. And you can, again, filter if you so wish, based on the different entity types. There's a lot of filter options, which is very handy so that you can drill in your search. So for example, if I was interested in the high risk organization, I can apply the filter, and there we have it. And then we have the investigation mode. Again, more visual representation. You're able to structure and prioritize your investigation paths and just absorb the routes and hops in a more manageable way. The green indicates incoming, the purple outgoing, and you can filter again by entity type, by hop count, by value, and then you can apply those filters. And there we have it. And that is an overview of the overview section: token activity, open alerts, and counterparty summary.